This is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks, where we review movies. Love them or hate them, someone's got to do it. So enjoy the show. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm April.
And this is Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
And anything else that gets in the mix.
So, April.
Yes.
We watched a movie that you've never seen before.
Correct. You have mentioned it a few times in passing.
Yes, and
today was the day.
So it's almost October.
Yes.
And I thought we needed a jumping off movie for this Spooktober season.
Uh-huh.
And I felt like this is a perfect movie.
I agree.
So,
what movie did we do?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to tell the audience what we're doing?
Yes, we did 1985's Clue.
Clue.
Not the movie 1985. Oh, no, that's 1984. Sorry.
No, we did Clue starring so many people.
Yes.
Tim Curry, Christopher Lloyd.
Not Susan Sarandon.
No. She looks like Susan Sarandon. Mm-hmm. It's not her. There's so many people. I don't even know all their names.
Uh-huh.
But they're so I just, I know we usually do this at the end, but I love this movie. So
I loved it. It's super cute. I looked up that they are in the talks of doing a remake, but it's been going on for many, many, many years. So hopefully within this decade, it'll happen.
I feel like this is one of those movies that
could go either way.
Well, no. So I know a lot of people have heard about it, but I feel like it's a cult classic that maybe isn't a cult classic. Does that make sense? Like, my sister and I love this movie.
Mm-hmm. Those in the know.
Yeah, but I don't know a lot of people who know about it. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like it's a very popular movie. So, like, I see people talk about it before, but I don't know anybody who's seen it. Like, me and Susan used to watch it all the time as kids.
So, I loved how funny and comical this movie is.
Yes.
I don't know that they could capture that in a remake.
Yeah.
So as much as I would like an updated comical fun version, I feel their best bet would be horror, more suspense.
Yeah.
Like,
I have you ever seen Death at a Funeral?
No.
Okay, so there's two versions of it. Mm-hmm. There's the British version of Death at a Funeral, and there's the American version. Uh-huh. The American one, it's fine. It's whatever. Mm-hmm. But the British version is hysterical. Mm-hmm. And it's very similar to this. Like, just, lots of twists and turns, a lot of just outrageous humor.
Uh-huh.
And just so well acted. Like, the entire cast is great.
Ooh, we should add that to the list.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, we could even do both. I'm down to do both of them.
Okay.
So we can talk about it.
So first the American one.
Yes. So you can, be like, oh, okay, this one's fine. But the British one is the best one.
Okay. We'll definitely do that.
But, okay, so spoiler warning. I know this movie is from 1985, but there's a lot of like twists and turns. And, if you've not seen it and you really want to see it, just spoiler alert.
I will say that just because this movie was filmed and released in 1985, it's not an 80s movie.
No.
This is like I Love Lucy, black and white, Not only is it taking place in the late 1940s, like after the war.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's around 1950s.
It's 1954.
Yeah. But it's also taking place in an old mansion manor, like English type manor. So it sets the mood.
It does. Mm-hmm. Like, it's so good. There's this one running joke throughout the very beginning of the movie. And I just love how it hits. Every time they do it, it hits. So at the very beginning, Tim Curry, He's the butler. He shows up. He's unlocking everything, turning everything on, and he steps in dog poop. And he wipes off his shoe, whatever, he goes inside. Every person he interacts with at the very beginning all smells it, and they all check their shoes almost in the same way. And it's great. It's hilarious every single time it happens. And I've seen this movie like so many times, and it's still funny to me. I love the running gags in this whole movie.
There's a lot of running. I feel bad for the female actors having to run around in heels.
Yeah. Those days must have been torturous. So much.
And it's not like, I'm sure if we filmed that today, they would have regular shoes on and just film like, you know, they would have like long shots and like close-ups.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't have to continuously be in heels.
Because that would have been awful. And they're in like very restrictive gowns.
Yeah, it is a dinner party.
Yes.
So yeah. Do we want to give a synopsis?
Yeah.
Okay. So these strangers, we are led to believe, are all invited to a dinner, and they don't know why. And we find out that each one of them has been blackmailed.
Yes.
And they have all been brought together, and we are going to expose the blackmailer. And subsequential murders happen, and it's a whodunit.
Yes.
And then what I loved about it is at the end, they give you several different endings of like, they give you the ending and it's like, or this is what could have happened. And then there's a third one. It's like, but this is what really happened. Because there were like, sometimes there was some suspicious things that I noticed, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, I guess it was the other person this whole time. But yeah, I liked the third ending the best because, do we want to go there? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's our podcast. We don't care.
Yeah, the ending that supposedly is the one that occurred is basically everybody killed somebody for different reasons.
Yes, except for Mr. Green.
Yes.
So my whole thing is, how did he get invited?
Here's the thing. I think he was probably like a mole.
Well, he said he was a plant, but wouldn't Mr. Body know if he was like, it's his party. So how did he?
No. Like the FBI probably found out that all these other people were being blackmailed. So then, you know how he was all klutzy?
Yeah.
I feel that he put himself out there to make himself a target to be blackmailed.
I guess, but they never said what he did.
He was gay.
Okay. In politics. Okay, that makes sense. Because I was like, why is he there? I've never understood why he was there. I never put the homosexual. So he says that he's gay and that he does something. They all live in DC. That's where they're all from. And he isn't actually. But okay, so maybe we should go through every character.
Okay.
So we have the butler, that's Tim Curry.
Yes.
He's Wadsworth.
Yeah.
Then we have Miss Peacock. We have
Mrs. Peacock is the wife of a senator, I think.
Yes. And she was taking bribes. So then we have Colonel Mustard,
who made his money during the world profiteering.
Yeah, he was
He would sell
stuff on the black market.
Yeah.
And then we have Professor Plum, who was diddling his female patients.
Yep. He was a psychiatrist.
Yes.
So imagine how vulnerable they were.
Right. And then we have Miss Scarlet, who is like a madame.
Yep. She's got a brothel.
Yeah. And then, but she was paying off a cop.
Yeah.
To keep from getting in trouble. And then we have Miss White, who may or may not have killed her husband.
Black Widow.
And then we have Mr. Green.
Yes.
Oh, and we also have Mr. Body,
Yes.
who turns out is actually a butler. Mm-hmm. And then we have a vet, who's the maid.
Yep.
And we have the cook. Mm-hmm. She doesn't get a name, apparently.
Nope.
And then we also have the motorist.
Yeah, just unfortunate guy that broke down and knocked on the wrong house.
Or did he?
They never said what connection he had to anybody.
They did.
What do you... Oh, he worked for my old boss.
Yeah.
Who is that? Who was
Mr. Colonel Mustard's driver.
Oh, that's right.
And then we had the singing telegram, who was the female patient.
They got his license revoked.
And then the cop that shows up is the one that was being paid off by Miss Scarlet.
Mm-hmm. The brothel owner, the madam.
So those are all of our cast of characters. And then Yvette, she is the one that cheated on Mr. White's husband.
Yep.
Or Mrs. White's husband.
And at some point she worked in the brothel as well.
Yes. And then
the cook cooked for the
Mrs.
Peacock, the politician's wife.
So that's kind of how they're all intertwined.
And so the cook and the maid were the ones that gave information to the host.
So did the motorist, the cop, and the singing telegram.
Yep.
And so all of them were killed. So never tell people stuff.
Nope.
That's what we've learned here, children.
Yep.
Just keep it to yourself. Don't kill the messenger. That's basically, this is where that comes from.
Exactly.
But I just love all the twists and turns. They all get a gift from Mr. Body when they think that Mr. Body is the host of the party.
What I love is that Scarlett is like, I always loved receiving gifts from mystery men. And I was like, I don't think I've ever gotten a gift from a mystery guy.
No, me neither. I know. When's my gift going to come? Though, if I got a mystery gift from a guy, I probably would be like, I don't want it.
Oh. Yeah.
Like, take that back. Don't give that to me. Especially if it was a candlestick.
I would be like...
Or a piece of rope.
Yeah. Okay. So the candlestick, I'd be like, just one. I don't get the pair.
Yeah. Like cheapskate.
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this? I guess murder somebody with it.
That's because Scarlett was the first one to open it.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, where's the second one?
So we have a candlestick, rope, a
that's
wrench.
already knotted, like to hang.
It's ready to go.
Yeah.
The revolver and a lead pipe.
Yep. And a wrench.
Yes.
And a wrench and a knife.
Yeah.
And no poison.
No poison.
Everyone thinks there's poison. There's no poison.
Get your game out, folks.
I think the best part about this film is just the dialogue.
Yeah.
Like when somebody shows up, they're like, help yourself to some brandy, but not the cognac, just in case. And he's like, just in case of what? Nothing. No, it's fine.
We're good. Yeah, just like I said, the running jokes are hilarious.
Yeah, like there was a part where Mr. Body drank some cognac and then the lights went out and he was supposedly dead.
Yes.
And so then Miss Peacock was like, I need a drink. And so she drank out of the same cognac. And then they're like, oh my God, what if it's poison? And she starts screaming. And then it's like, oh, she's fine.
Yeah.
They're like, maybe it hasn't worked yet. And so everybody like leans in and stares at her, like waiting for her to die. Like those little things are just like what made this film so great.
Well, and Mr. Green slaps her, and that comes back like 2 other times.
Oh my gosh. So when they do the reenactment, like, okay, so she was screaming hysterically because she thought she was poisoned and Mr. Green slapped her. And so she stopped. And then later when the reenactment, when Mr. Walsworth is like, okay, here's what I think happened. And then he's reenacting and yanking people as he goes and he yanks Mrs. Peacock and slaps her, because he's reenacting it.
Like they must have had so much fun making this movie.
I don't know, man. There was this one part, like, when they were talking about how many bullets were in a gun.
Yes.
And he was like, haha, you can't kill me. There's no more bullets in here. He's like, yes, there is. No, there isn't. And then they start counting 1 and 1, 2, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And they're like, no, 1 and 1, 2, 1, 3, 4. And they're like, no. And then I don't even know what the hell, like, I understood it, but like I could follow it, but I was they were just words. I understood the words they were saying. My mind was too slow to comprehend their counting system.
So she said it's 1 + 2 + 1 + 1. And he said, no, it's 1 + 2 + 2 + 1. And so he thought there were 6 bullets used. She said there was 5. Turns out there was only 5.
Yep.
And so there was a 6th bullet. And that's another gag that they keep doing is the chandelier. They keep shooting it and they keep falling.
Yeah.
And they keep scaring Colonel Mustard.
I just, when that chandelier fell, all I could think about is Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Like, why? Why is it so embedded in my head?
You know, it's funny. One time, me and my family, we were all sitting in the living room, and just all of a sudden, the fan and light fell.
Dude.
Just fell. And we're all like, what the hell? It's like, we were just sitting there. We weren't using it. It literally just was like, I give up.
I was like, I'm done.
Yeah. Terrifying. One time I was sleeping in I had bunk beds and the bulb just loosened itself and went, or like the cover.
Yeah.
Just went whipping around my room. And luckily I had bunk beds and it hit the metal part of my bunk bed and I didn't get hit. Had I not had that, it would have just come and hit me.
Hey.
And then my parents have had 2 blades fall off in the last like few months on a different fan that they don't ever use. They never use this fan.
It's mad. That's what it is. It wants to be used. Right. It wants to be appreciated.
And then one time I was at my friend's house. We had just gotten back and we're all sitting on the couch and we left. And when we came back, there was a blade had fallen off and was in the couch where we were all sitting, just like stuck in the couch.
Well, I can say I have never experienced a fan falling, breaking, or blades spinning off.
The fan was going all crazy like this. It was nuts.
And I haven't had the little dish fall off either.
Well, you're lucky. I've been around way too many of these falling off and falling down. I should be concerned. I should take out life insurance or something. Let's see here. Oh, so I don't know why, but in every horror movie, someone always says, hey, let's split up.
Yep.
So they all, they go and they cut matchsticks and they match them up to each person. And that takes way longer than it should have, which is great because the way that they're doing it just
like they're actually trying to like match up matchsticks, and it wasn't like even close.
No.
Like these were like fireplace long matchsticks.
Yeah.
So there was a very clear difference in length.
Yeah. And I love that they showed us the difference in size. So when they were doing it and pairing them up, people were actually putting them together and they're like, oh, nope. Oh, okay. And then one of them, Vet, was holding it forever.
Yeah, she just held it during her whole, like, we're just follow. I kept thinking something was going to happen with that stick. Like this fire was going to start or something.
Well, and like, so none of them trusted each other because they don't know each other and 3 people have died.
Yeah.
So they're like, I don't want to go with this person. And so they're all like kind of creeping around and like, no, you go first. No, you go first. And they're like, well, let's just go together. It's just chaos.
Yes. It reminded me a lot of the game Among Us.
Okay. I've never seen it.
It's a game. It was a pandemic game.
Yeah, I've never played it.
You're like in space and one of the crew members has been taken over by an alien. And so you're each a different color, like you're green, red, blue, purple. And so then you have tasks, because you're in a spaceship.
Yeah.
And so then you all have to complete your tasks. That's part of your goal. And then somebody gets murdered. And then you all like have a rally and try to figure out who did it. And then you guys take a vote and you jettison whoever you think it is. And then when they're out in outer space, it tells you orange was not the alien or whatever.
Oh.
And so then you have to go back to your like tasks and they're timing you or something. And meanwhile, if you're the killer, you have to go around and kill somebody. And then, if you kill, you have to make sure you kill them. Because if not, if you try to kill them and you miss, then that person's going to be like, I know who did it. So-and-so did it. He tried to kill me. There's a bunch of YouTube videos. It's fun to watch.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When's the last time you played Clue?
Childhood.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd say, oh, God. Maybe in the last 10 years.
Yes, my childhood was 10 years ago.
That is not true.
Okay, 15. No, what is it? Princess Diana's been dead for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, 25 years. The Queen has passed as well.
Yeah. Just so people know, we're recording this like 3 weeks in advance.
Mm-hmm.
So the Queen just died for us.
Yeah.
For you, it's been weeks.
Mm-hmm. The funeral's already happened.
Yeah. The mourning period's already over.
No, it's not. That lasts for 6 months.
Well, for...
The shock of it has passed.
I meant like the official 10 days of mourning would be over. They have like 10 days of mourning.
I guess. I don't know.
Oh.
I've been watching the news, but not like watching the news.
I saw it on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
There were some British people. They were going over like what would happen if she passed.
Mm-hmm.
And this was actually after she had already passed. And so there's
algorithm.
Yeah. Any hoozle bees. Let's see here.
Of course, this old manor mansion house has secret corridors.
Yes, love it.
And apparently it's a known thing, like I just feel these secret corridors should only be known by the owners of the house. Like even if you have help, they shouldn't know about it.
Like if you had secret stuff, you wouldn't show anybody?
I would.
Like I would have to. I'm like, oh my God, check out my secret passage.
I remember we lived in a house that had like these little crawl spaces in the attic. Like, you had your room and then there was a door and you opened it and you had like you could probably fit a twin size bed there.
Yeah.
And then it was the roof.
Yeah.
And so then we always meant to do something with that. And we're like, dude, this would be like the perfect place to play hide and go seek in the dark,
So, okay, speaking of something creepy like that, my parents are in our house in Nebraska. We had, when you walked in the front door, you either had to go upstairs or go downstairs. It was just a little landing. And when you went downstairs in the basement, under the stairs, so there was a closet in the basement and it was like a normal closet, but there was also like a hole that went under the stairs. And I was terrified of that place. Yes. Because like, I don't know if this is just how they set it up. And so in my head, it was blocked. So we had a toy chest and my dad had put it, or my mom, I don't know, put it in front of the opening to under the stairs. And so that was like hey, don't go past this point. So I never did. And I guarantee you I lost stuff back there. I know I did. But I didn't go back there because when we first moved into our house in Nebraska, there was a lot of mice and stuff and like crickets and just crap. And so every once in a while I'd be in my little toy closet and like a cricket would jump out at me. And so I just didn't ever go back there. But I'm sure it would have been a really cool place to hang out as a kid if it was like nice and not creepy.
I have the opposite. I loved little like crawl spaces and stuff like that. I remember when I was a kid, we lived in a house that had this back room that wasn't finished. I guess kind of like your back room, but it was huge. And like there was no AC, nothing. We just stored crap back there because it was, you know, it was a room basically. And so I loved playing in there, you know, just playing behind boxes and just crap. I remember we had in one of that same house, actually, there was like an old garage in the back that burnt down. And I would love playing in there. And my mother would always be like, don't go back there. Don't go back there. You know, stuff can collapse on you. Yeah. I'd be like, okay. And I would still go up there. Like the stairs, some of them were broken and you could still get up there. Yeah. Go up to the second floor. Like I loved that.
So have you been back as an adult?
No.
Have you seen it? So in my head as a kid, my grandparents had the world's biggest shower. It was so big. I've been in it, like as an adult, I've seen it. It is just like an average shower. But when I was a kid, it felt like the biggest shower ever. Like you had a special light in the shower because it was so large. It's maybe a little bit bigger than like a normal shower. Because my parents had such a small one in Nebraska. So when I went to theirs, it was so much bigger. And I was just like, oh my God. And in my dreams or in my thoughts, it was a huge shower. Like probably from that wall to that wall. Like it was giant. It's not that big.
So obviously I can't go into the house, but I am curious if the burnt down garage is still standing.
Is it in Fort Worth?
Yeah, we could drive by one day.
Try that.
See if it's still back there.
Do you remember where it was
at?
Oh,
yeah, I remember.
Oh, that's good. Should do that.
Yes.
And sometimes like when I have dreams or whatever, I'm never inside my house. I'm always on the outside of the house. And I'm like, wonder if it's because I don't remember what it's like inside of it.
So when I was a kid, I used to always have this dream. One of the houses that we grew up on, it was 2 stories, but we lived on the second floor and it had its own outside staircase. So you would go up the stairs and, you know, you lived upstairs. And I remember there was a tree next to it. And in my dream, I would stand and the porch, it was a long ass porch, you know, like it ran the whole house. So it was a long porch. And I distinctly remember having a recurring dream where I stood on top of the banister and there was a rope hanging from the tree and I would jump and I would grab it. And then I would be like, oh shit, what have I done? Because that rope is a short rope. It didn't go all the way to the ground. So now, and then because it's a short rope, I can't even swing enough to like, I would have to like lunge to get back onto the like balcony. And I just remember I would always be like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And I would always do it. I would always jump, catch the rope, and then just be dangling and paralyzed in fear. Like, why did I do this?
Don't you hate that?
And then I'd do it again.
Of course. So one part that I really liked is when the cook gets stabbed and they were about to like remove it.
Yeah.
And Colonel Mustard said, don't touch that. And then he touches it. And I was like, what's the point of that? You're not supposed to touch it, sir.
Yep.
Like you knew enough to tell somebody else don't touch it, and then you go to touch it.
I love okay, so they gather all of the dead bodies.
Yeah.
It turns out that Mr. Body wasn't dead.
Right.
He apparently, so when the lights went out, one of them did try to shoot him, but they only grazed his ear. But he was like, oh shit, they're trying to kill me. So then he faked dead.
Yeah.
Later, he was killed with the candlestick. Anyway, so at this point, you have a dead cook and you have the now for sure dead Mr. Body.
Yeah.
And so they grab the bodies and put them all in the
Library?
the lounge.
Lounge, yeah.
Lounge. And then who was the third one? Because they just chunk them there, like whatever.
Oh, it was the motorist.
Oh, yeah. So then there comes a point where they just pick up the body and just dump it.
Yeah.
Like every time they come across a dead body after that, they're like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah, there was one they just walked in, they're like, ugh, and they just walk out.
Like, it's just...
Like, we're over it.
Yeah, like, I think that would be my reaction. It's like... Okay.
Well, and so when the cop comes, so the motorist comes and he asks to use the phone.
Yeah.
They lock him in a room and he's like, I don't know what's going on. I think they're having a party. But my old boss used to be here. And then he gets hit and killed.
Yep.
And so they get them out of the room. And then the cop shows up because he finds the stranded car that the motorist had been stranded. And
they were like, don't open the door again. He's like, I'm gonna open it. Yeah. And they open the door. It's the cop, and he, what's his name? Green, immediately shuts the door in his face, and then he opens it. And they're like, is everything okay? And everybody's like, yes. And he's like, no.
And so they let him in, and then they lock him in one of the other rooms that didn't have a dead body.
The library, I think.
Yeah. And he's like, if you guys don't open the door, I'm going to tell everybody that you murdered someone. And they're like, oh God. So they open the door and he's like, I was just kidding. Like,
I was just saying stuff to get you to open the door.
It worked. And so then they take him on a tour. And while he's on the tour, they go into all the different rooms and they're like messing with the dead bodies. So they're like they're making out with them and dancing with them. And
one of them is drunk.
Yeah.
Passed out.
It's pretty funny.
Oh my gosh.
And he's just like, oh, okay. So you guys are just having fun. Let loose. It's America. You're allowed to.
Okay. So I'm going to skip ahead just a little bit to the point where they're all colluding now. And it's like, we can just walk away and never talk about this. Nobody will ever know.
Right.
What would you have done, Sarah? I would have been like, okay.
In this situation, I'm probably Mr. Green.
Why? You're being blackmailed.
Well, I wouldn't have been because I'm Mr. Green.
Okay. Think about it. Everybody first of all, I don't think I would have murdered anybody.
Yeah.
But there's no proof that you have a motive, you know? So,
I'm a Boy Scout. I'm Mr. Green. I wouldn't have even been in that situation.
That's true. That is true.
So, yeah, I'm boring.
Yeah, same.
But so April always likes to pick out a character. And before we even started watching it, I said, April, you're Mrs. White. I just have a feeling that that's the character you're going to like. And then you see Scarlett and you're like, oh, I'm Scarlett. I was like, no.
Well, she had such a fancy dress and diamonds. And then she was a madam.
Yeah.
And I was like, And then when Mrs. White is talking about her husband and he's like, yeah, what about your first husband? He was an illusionist. Disappearing was his job. He never came back. He wasn't a very good illusionist. I loved that line.
You're like, okay, no, I'm Mrs. White.
Yeah.
And I was like, I knew it. But she has one of my favorite parts of the whole entire movie.
When they're giving their reasons of who killed who and why.
Yeah. And so she kills Yvette and she's just like, there was flames, hot flames
on my face,
on the side of my face. So like she just can't even put into words. Like, oh, I just love that part.
Yes.
My favorite. I love that in the first whodunit. It's Scarlett.
Yeah, I found that one so hard to believe.
Yeah, that she
Alone did everything.
Yeah, she was basically well,
I mean, okay, so in the first scenario, Yvette helped her with the first few killings.
Yeah.
Because while everybody was in the lounge, Yvette was in another room recording the conversations. And she knew about the secret corridors. So she assisted in the murdering.
Yes.
And then Scarlett murdered her to get rid of the whatever.
Yeah.
So
the only thing I found really like that wouldn't have happened is that Yvette wouldn't have been able to move the cook's body or Mr. Body's body
yeah,
by herself.
exactly.
Especially in that outfit. I was like, I don't think so.
Yeah. And then in the second one, it was the Colonel, right? And he's just he can't even follow the story. It was him, right?
Oh, I have it here. I wrote it down specifically for this.
Or was it the professor? I mean, the
Guild of Vets. They don't care anymore. The butler guessed Scarlet. Oh, no, it was just Mrs. Peacock the second time.
Oh, yeah. I can't see Mrs. Peacock doing everything either.
No.
That's why the third scenario, the one that did happen,
Yeah.
just made the most sense.
That everybody killed
Somebody.
Person.
Yep.
Which, there's this, I want to say it's a movie. Could have been a TV show.
The Four Strangers on a Train.
No. I think it was called Drowning Mona, if I remember correctly. But basically, this person that lives in this town, nobody likes her. She ends up dead. And like everybody in the town actually was a part of her death. But nobody knows that everybody else had a hand in her death.
So there's actually a true story about a man who the whole town hated. And he was not there right in the head. Yeah. And he was a bully and he was just off his rails, right? And he ended up getting murdered in cold blood in the middle of the street in front of multiple witnesses. And he was so hated that no one has said a word of who killed him.
Wow.
Yeah. Like,
I don't want to be that person ever.
Can you imagine? Like this whole town, like I'm sure because he was so hated, people are talking and more people know than just those who witnessed it.
Yeah.
And still nobody's saying a word.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that one episode of Grey's Anatomy where they all said it was me that did it when they killed Denny. They're like, I did it. No, I did it. No, I did it. They cut the LVAT.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that episode.
It's one of the first.
Yeah, I didn't watch those
few seasons. What was I going to say? I don't remember. But I just really like how they have it all come together. I think if I was a character that wasn't a part of that part, I probably would have been the singing telegram.
Oh,
I sing that song every now and then. It gets stuck in my head. And I'll be like, I am a singing telegram.
One thing I would change about this film is I didn't need those 2 extra endings. I would have, because here's the thing, when they so when he's reenacting what he thinks happened, he goes through the whole spiel and then they go to the second ending and they just skip halfway through it and really only show you the parts that changed with who murdered it. And then the third one, they again cut, like it's a very good monologue. And the running around, it's so good. I felt that it lost momentum because you didn't show the whole thing from the beginning. Like, I'm sure somewhere on YouTube, there is the whole rundown from beginning to end of what actually happened.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that ending better.
So the reason why they did it this way is because the endings were shot. A different one was shown at each theater.
What?
Yeah. So all 3 are included on the video. The DVD, however, aside from all 3 endings, also offers an option to play the movie with one randomly selected ending. So some people are like, no, it ended this way. And then others are like, no, it ended this way.
That would make me so mad.
No, I think you would think that was super cool.
No, I would be so mad.
Depending on which one you got, I guess.
Yes.
But like, low key, isn't that kind of fun?
Okay, I will admit though that I have thought about writing a book and having different endings and then publishing like that.
Yeah.
And then you just see like which, like if you noticed it, you would see which edition you have.
Yeah.
And then you would know the truth.
See? Oh, flames on the side of my face. That was on here. Oh, it was ad-libbed. Well, good job.
Very good.
Good job, Mrs. White. I just love how they did that. Like, just, hey, we're gonna put it one in each theater. You won't know which one you got.
Yep.
So I guarantee you that there are people. It's kind of like
Mandela effect.
yeah, they're gonna be like, no, it ended this way. No, it ended this way.
Yeah.
It probably starts lots of fights if they don't know.
Yeah.
You know? And this happened in 1985. There were no computers around. People wouldn't have known. Unless they like talked to a friend who went to a different theater and they're like, wait.
Well, I'm sure back then, I wonder what the film critics saw.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
That would be an interesting critique. Like, what if they got one of the crappy endings and then they complain about, like, I can't see how that one person did it.
Yeah. That would be great.
I think I would have been upset with ending 1 and ending 2. Ending 3 was definitely the satisfying ending.
I think ending 1 is great if you don't know that there's 2 other endings. Like, it's fine. But I think having Miss Peacock, she doesn't seem like she'd been a killer of everybody.
Not a mastermind.
Yeah.
Scarlet would be a mastermind.
Yes.
Definitely. But I can't. No, it's just her accomplice being Yvette.
Yeah.
That's not 100.
Yeah. Is there anything else about the movie that you have?
No, nothing at all.
I don't have anything else either.
So, Sarah, what would you rate this movie?
I'm going to have to give it a very rare 10 out of 10.
Wow.
10 out of 10. 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
So, this is a difficult rating for me because I really enjoyed it. There was pacing issues. There was parts I could definitely cut out, especially the 2 endings I did not like.
I really thought that was the part you'd like.
I would hate to play it on random and get the ending that I hate.
Yeah.
But the dialogue is like, this is a very quotable movie.
Yes.
And for that reason, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I look forward to the remake.
Oh.
I hope, regardless of whether it's funny or if it's suspense, drama, scary, I want it to still have good dialogue, like be witty and smart.
Like, did you ever see the movie Knives Out?
No.
It was sort of similar to this. It was basically a family that was trapped in a house with a cop because their dad, it was suspected that someone murdered him for the money. And so they were trying to figure out who killed him. And so it was it was supposed to be like a comedy, but it didn't hit. It was not great.
It was promising.
It was
but
promising, yeah.
Deliver.
Especially with the people in it, it should have been better than it was. But, I mean, it kept you guessing, kind of like this movie. I just love, like, to me, the reason why they have the 3 different endings is because every time you play Clue, it's different.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I kind of like that they have the different endings, because sometimes it wouldn't make sense. Like, why would it be Mr. Plum with the revolver in the sanctuary?
That's why the final ending was the best, because they all did it.
Yeah. So I really enjoy it. I love this movie. It's definitely a favorite of mine. And I'll probably watch it again sometime. I need to get it on DVD. I only have it on VHS.
You got the VHS player working?
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't.
Does it work, or is it broken, or you haven't tried?
I haven't tried.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's still hope then.
Yes. I need to get the cord from my dad. But yeah, I super enjoy this movie.
Me too.
So April,
Yes.
if people want to talk about their theories on this movie, where can they find us?
Two Chicks Talking Flicks over on Instagram.
You can find us at Two Chicks Talkin Flicks on Gmail.
We also have a Facebook, Two Chicks Talking Flicks.
And we have a TikTok, Two Chicks Talkin Flicks.
Oh.
And I heard through the grapevine that Twitter is starting to do some kind of Twitter podcasty thing.
Oh.
So if you want to find us on Twitter, it is not the same handle. It is 2 Chicks and Flicks.
Wow.
So go find us over there, and maybe at some point it'll be a podcasty thing.
Yes.
So, all right, guys. Well, until next time.
Toodles.
Bye. This episode was produced by Two Chicks Talkin Flicks. Music was produced by Michael Girvani. If you like this episode, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to be a part of the show, have a movie suggestion, or just want to give us some love, you can email us at twochickstalkinflicks@gmail.com. Thanks, guys. Toodles.